Now that the dust is settled, guys, who do you think is really to blame for the post-fight brawl at UFC 229? You got three choices to choose from here. Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, or the UFC? John.
I understand the arguments, leading into it and why you could say the UFC is responsible or why you could say Conor is responsible. Did the UFC allow too much politically charged pre-fight hype go on? You could say, is Conor to blame because he's the one that's always out there poking the bear? To me, though, ultimately, it's Khabib's fault. Khabib's the one that left the cage. He's the one that broke the rules. You know what I mean? Trash talk happens. People are going to yell at you. I understand why he snapped. I get it, and I feel for him. But he snapped, and he left the cage, and you have to put it on his shoulders.
Goes?
It was Khabib Nurmagomedov. And do you blame the guy who brought the gun or the guy that shot it, that pulled the trigger? Khabib pulled the trigger that night. He lit the fuse. It's on him.
Dan Tom?
Man, I really wish there was an everyone. I want to say it's everyone, man. I do, and then even then, I almost want to say UFC, not just to be contrarian or come at the UFC, but we're gonna promote these things and we're gonna parlay it into our promotion of the fight, and we're not gonna be surprised when real fights happen, which they do in life in all venues. Mm-hmm. That being said, the options, I guess I got to go Khabib Nurmagomedov too. Although I completely understand where Khabib was coming from.
Yeah, it's unanimous, Khabib, because every incident was separate of itself. The press conference the Brooklyn incident, the isolation of Artem, the press conferences leading up, anytime they passed each other, heading to the sun, whatever, man, it doesn't matter. At that particular moment, he snapped. And by snapping, he jumped out. And, of course, anything that ensued after that, we were in the midst of no longer competition, a street fight. And anything can happen in a street fight. That's why Conor got lit up by those guys that jumped in. Conor also took a shot at someone while straddling the cage. And that's why Conor's not pressing any charges, because I think he realizes, what does he call it, a good smack? A good knock.
Good knock.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, had Khabib not done that, we wouldn't have had all that. I think we'd be talking about how classy Conor is in defeat and how graceful Khabib is, and we'd be talking more Khabib and Tony turning the page rather than just focusing on this. And it was pretty even, guys. I mean, one number does stand out, but there's Khabib, 51%, Conor, 25%, UFC, 24%. Thank you all for participating. We love you, Junkie Nation, the readers and listeners of our website.